Did Christianity shamelessly plagiarize other religions that existed before it? We're going to take a look at a short video that makes this claim, and then we're going to debunk it.
Are you aware that there were 15? Now let me ask you something. Are you aware that there were 15 other major religions? This is history now.
Okay.
Not conjecture, history. There were 15 major theological religious movements in the world before Christianity that taught exactly the same identical story of a Messiah who came to the earth, who was born in a manger, who died on a cross, who had 12 apostles, who died with a crown of thorns. Are you aware that there were 15 major religions that had the same identical teachings of Christianity? Most people aren't. And I'm very suspect of a 16th religion which is copied off of 15 previous religions, and I am told that this one is the truth. I become very suspect.
So the man speaking here is the late Jordan Maxwell, an infamous atheist proselytizer from yesteryear who doubled as a professional religious illiterate. The kinds of claims that Maxwell makes in this video are pretty common among people who read only a very carefully curated selection of antiquated literature written by people who don't understand Christianity or ancient religions. To anyone familiar with ancient mythology, all of this is utter nonsense. The information we have so clearly refutes this guy's claims that I would argue there's a possibility that he's just lying. I simply cannot believe that anyone could be this grossly misinformed. But other people do repeat this claim, so let's take a look. He talks about 15 other religions having the same story and teachings as Christianity, so let's look at his hand-picked evidences. And remember, he apparently considers these to be the premier examples that prove Christians copied from pre-existing religions. First of all is the Messiah who came to earth. Some ancient gods were called saviors, but it was in a very different sense that is fundamentally incompatible with biblical theology. Second is the fact that he's born in a manger. Now, there are birth stories of the gods, but it would be almost impossible to find anything that really parallels the story of Jesus' birth in the Gospels in any significant way that might suggest borrowing on the part of the Christian writers. Next, he died on a cross. There's literally no example of a crucified God in ancient Near Eastern or Greco-Roman mythology. This is arguably the biggest urban myth in ancient religion. You hear it all the time, and it is absolutely false. And if you want to fact check me, I would invite you to do that. Go to the original myths of any deity in the ancient world and find just one that was nailed to a cross in the Roman style of execution, because I can guarantee you won't be able to find anything close to it. What about the 12 apostles? Well, this is a joke. There are no myths that feature a god with 12 apostles. Again, go to the myths and read them for yourself. Last, he died by the crown of thorns. Now, this is an unusual and somewhat poorly worded claim, but it's just as false as the other ones on this list. Videos like this pop up all the time, and a lot of people just buy into this stuff wholesale because they don't bother to check the original sources for themselves. And here's the difference between me and someone like the guy in this video. He's going to say, Christianity plagiarized other religions, and here's the kind of things they stole. But guys like him will never give you any sources. They won't tell you where to find any information in scholarly literature. They won't tell you where these stories can be found in the ancient myths, in the original sources. If they do point you to some other source, it'll have been written by one of their cronies whose work is just as academically bankrupt. So, in short, somebody like this is essentially asking you to trust what he says, not verify his claims. Whereas somebody like me will say, I have absolutely no problem with you investigating these claims. In fact, I want you to do it. Because I've read the myths, I've read the original sources, some of them in the original languages. And I know for a fact that this guy and people like him are not only religious ignoramuses, but they're probably liars too. So there were 15 other religious movements that paralleled Christianity even in minute details. Well, I'd like to know what they are, because that would only make it that much easier to debunk this claim.